What's Up Whittier?
Welcome to What's Up Whittier, a homegrown podcast.
A podcast to showcase Whittier's businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures.
Hey everybody, producer Christine here. Welcome to our podcast, What's Up Whittier. If you are not familiar with our podcast, welcome. If you are an old neighbor, it's great to see you again. Great to hear from you again. Thank you so much for listening in and tuning into our second episode in quarantine in coronavirus times. So again, thank you. My name is producer Christine. This show is brought to you by Singing Moon Media. And you have your two hosts, Remo the Realtor and Jessie the Architect. You can follow both Remo and Jessie on their various social medias and on their websites. You can go to @Remo the Realtor on all social media sites and @J2 Architects for all of Jessie's information. And you can follow me and my information @The Singing Moon and @Christine for Whittier. So again, thank you so much for tuning into our community podcast. Now, on to our community Corkboard announcements. Join the Whittier Uptown Association every Friday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for our farmers market on the corner of Philadelphia and Bright. So just to let you know, we have some new rules, I guess, right, and regulations. Everybody must be wearing a face mask when they enter the farmers market. And you guys will be standing in a line 6 feet apart outside. They ask that you bring, your own bags and things like that. If you are feeling sick, please, don't go. Please stay quarantined, stay in great health, drink your water, eat your fruits and veggies, eat your citrus, drink your citrus, and just be in great health. So that being said, also, did you hear about what happened at City Council? A really cool thing happened. So Greenleaf will be closed for approximately 4 months. And that'll give restaurants on Greenleaf Avenue the opportunity to have their restaurant and enjoy outdoor dining. We're finally going to have outdoor dining in Uptown, so it's going to be pretty cool and exciting. This is going to be something different, and it's something that we've seen that other cities do in their urban planning, right? Take Santa Monica, for instance, or even in Berkeley, they're doing the outdoor dining experience due to the COVID situation, how it's hurt our restaurants here in Uptown. So I think it'd be great. I'm really excited for it. It's always important to be positive, so I'm really excited. And another great thing that I learned is that if your restaurant is within the Uptown district and you do not fall on Greenleaf, you have an opportunity to, have seating in your parking lot. So that's cool too. I'm very excited for everybody. And I'm excited to see what our creative entrepreneurs and restaurateurs end up coming up with. So very exciting. I hope you guys can all go out and support our restaurants once again. And I'm sure that more events will be coming through. So let me know. Absolutely send us an email to whatsupwhittierpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us and all of our social media @whatsupwhittier on everything. And check out our website. It's whatsupwhittier.xyz. It's pretty cool, pretty trendy. I don't know, tech stuff, but... so thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you follow Remo and Jessie. Remo does have virtual workshops. He is a crazy hard worker. And also, if you get to see his beautiful daughter every day if you follow him. And so we're, again, very grateful for all of our listeners here for the podcast. If you're interested in being on What's Up Whittier, send us an email, whatsupwhittierpod@gmail.com, or send us a direct message @whatsupwhittier. Alrighty then, that's all I have for the community Corkboard announcements today, but please keep sending us more announcements as they come in. Let's celebrate, let's have a good time. We're, entering a new space, but we must also be sure to be diligent about washing our hands and sanitizing doorknobs and things like that. Let's all do our part, because although, the curve has flattened and restrictions are being lifted, the reality is that nobody knows what's going to happen. So if we're all just cautious about our neighbors, because we love each other, we love our neighbors here in the city of Whittier, we are going to do our best to support each other and to be in the best health. I love Whittier, I love my town, and I love my neighbors, and that means you. So please, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of your friends. If you guys need anything, please reach out. We already shared our contact information, and really excited about this episode. You guys know me, I'm a total foodie, so we get to have a little review in there. It's pretty cool. Very excited. Thank you everybody for listening, for downloading, and subscribing. Take it away, Jessie and Remo.
What's up, Whittier?
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
This is What's Up, Whittier COVID style, or COVID edition.
This is the second one. The first one was like kind of a tester because it was just madness and I was not near a computer and my signal sucked, and so, but this is the technology that we're part of now.
That's right. Obviously, as we're like Remo said, we're on our second trial of this whole madness of recording virtually, so bear with us. But obviously, like every single time we do these interviews, we have a special guest, and we hope to make it very entertaining for you guys, even if we sound like robots, right, Remo?
That was last week, Jesse. I was talking to people in the Home Depot tunnel where they have an absolute, like, I don't know, like a cave over them or something, where the signal just sucked.
That's right. Well, with that said, Remo, who do we have on today?
Chef Tony.
Welcome.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Tony, for those of you, or for those that don't know who you are and who you're with, can you give us a quick intro of who you are?
My name is Tony Alcazar. I've been part of the dining scene in Uptown Whittier for at least 12 years. I started by opening up the bottle room in 2009. Had a very successful run there. We then opened up a second restaurant in Pasadena called Harlow's French Dip, at which point I decided to leave to do something different, and I became the corporate chef for Congregation Ale House, which oversaw 4 stores and the opening up of 1. About a year and a half into that, I somehow got a hold of Crooked Gaff, and I've been the owner for about a year and a half now. A little over a year. Back in my hometown of Uptown Whittier.
Are you local to the area?
Yeah, I live about a mile away from my restaurant.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hell of a drive to Pasadena versus to Uptown, right? I'm sure from where you're at.
The drive to Pasadena every morning was horrific. It took me about an hour every day. Hour there, hour back. It's not even that far, but the traffic was just horrible.
Yeah, and it's like annoying traffic. It's not, it's where people are just all rushing to go somewhere, and everyone's pissed off at each other. And so I've done that trip a couple times, during those rush hours, and I absolutely hate it. So, well, glad you're here in Whittier again.
I'm happy to be here. It's a 3-minute drive. Happy to be, if I need to go to lunch, I go somewhere local, and I'm supporting local businesses.
Very cool. Well, I'll start off by commending the absolute best turkey burger I ever had was at the bottle room.
Yeah.
And I probably been to the bottle room, I would say 25 times, and I probably ordered a turkey burger maybe 24.
That's a good burger. It's funny about that burger. There was a competition, a contest of the best burger in LA during a time where burgers were kind of just going up. This was about almost 10 years ago. And I submitted that one. I submitted that one because I knew everybody was going to submit a beef burger, and didn't get any recognition for that. But amongst our fans, our client base here in Whittier, it is for sure a favorite.
Yeah, it is delicious. Like, there's no other way of saying it. It's just absolutely delicious. That's why there's no other thing that I order. My goal is to go with people, or back then, go with people that order other things so I can try other dishes, because I knew every time walking in there there was no, like, okay, let's look at the menu. That was my go-to.
Part of the secret to that burger was the blend of dark meat and white meat. So that's why it was never dry. It always had a juicy patty.
Yeah. Very cool. So now you're at the Crooked Gaff. You want to tell us about kind of that restaurant, and obviously the name's a very unique name, and what is it all about?
Okay, the way that Crooked Gaff happened was I was coming by here quite a bit on my drives home from Santa Ana Congregation, and I would stop by and have some tacos or some oysters and a few beers. I had already known the Obregon brothers, and after a couple of visits, they decided to get me involved with one of their beer menus that they were doing with Bottle Logic or Society. I can't remember which two. And I jumped on the opportunity because I've done so many beer dinners in my lifetime, not to mention wine dinners, just countless of paired events. So I did, and it was a success. It was a packed house. Everything was smooth. About a month or two later, they asked me to do another beer dinner with them. Again, a huge success. And within a few weeks, the guys were interested in selling and reached out to me. My partner loved the space, so we made an offer, and after a couple of months of negotiations, we moved in. Not much has changed as far as concept-wise. We still do a bunch of oysters and a lot of seafood. What has changed is definitely my recipes and my experience as a chef for nearly 20 years now, to bring, that history of myself into dishes. You could come in, I've prepared some dishes for Christine today, and you could see new stuff, but you could also see a little inspiration from, one of the Japanese chefs that I worked with, one of the French chefs that I worked with, and then, with my own interpretations upon that. It's a very fun atmosphere. All our servers are great. My kitchen staff is amazing. We try to really bring to every single day. Casual fine dining is one way of putting it. It's food made to the very best quality in terms of ingredients and technique and finesse, but kind of played down for an everyday experience. So it's not crazy expensive. I mean, you guys have all been here, and I think you can agree that it's a great quality for what you get, for what you pay.
So we got Christine just sent me some pictures, and being in quarantine with a newborn, and Jessie looks like
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We try to limit but I get these pictures. I don't know why Christine sends them to us, because then
so you can salivate.
So let's describe some of these dishes so our mouths can water some more. I see some green beans. It looks like with bacon.
Yeah, well, you guys could order some of these tonight to see what she's tasting. Just kidding. Okay, let's call it from right to left. Those are my Szechuan green beans, which that's a play on a dish that I used to do at Mako in Beverly Hills. Makoto Tanaka was an amazing Japanese chef, one of the first chefs to take over Spago in Beverly Hills, one of the first chefs in the early 90s to start the Asian fusion cuisine at a restaurant called Chinoise on Main. I learned a lot from him as far as learning Asian ingredients, but more Japanese. So this was kind of a dish. I've changed it up a little bit as far as the sauce, but over there we used to do the green beans and deep fry them in a wok, and it was a real legit wok that I got to man a few times. Very fun times there. If you go over to the left, that'll be our yellowfin tuna poke tostada, which is kind of a mix of a few different things. It's definitely a tostada with like a ceviche style, but it is tuna. It is high quality tuna, and I mixed that with my spicy ponzu vinaigrette, which, believe it or not, was inspired from a Caesar vinaigrette that I used to make back in the day, and then I kind of Asianed it up a little bit, as well as Mexicaned it up. I hope these words aren't like offending anyone, but it has a little like East LA avocado sauce on it with a little coleslaw, peanuts. I don't know anybody who's making like these kinds of dishes around here, and that's all served on a tostada. To the left is grilled corn esquite, which esquite has been pretty popular in Uptown Whittier these past couple of years. I know Bizarra makes one. The Commoner guys make one. Turnbull Callahan, for sure, they make one. And they're all very good, and they're all very different. The difference in mine is that we make a spicy jalapeno mayonnaise that we toss in there. Mayonnaise is very common in Esquite, but we finish it off at the very, very end with freshly squeezed lemon juice, cotija, and tajin, which tajin is really great because it has like a citric acid component that is dry, but it's kind of spicy. Delicious. And the corn is perfect right now. It's really sweet. To the left of that would be our Brussels sprouts, which are fried, and those are tossed in a sauce that we call octo sauce. It's used for a lot of different things. It's basically soy sauce and jalapeno and sugar and sesame oil. But as soon as the Brussels sprouts are out of the fryer, we immediately toss them in the sauce. Top it off with sesame seeds and cilantro and some green onion. To the left of that is like one of those dishes that I'll probably never take off the menu, which that is called our pork belly bao. Bao is basically bread that instead of being baked, it's steamed. And they always have a unique shape, as you can see in the picture. We stuff it with crispy pork belly. And our pork belly is a whole other level of taking care of this beautiful meat. Once, extremely inexpensive. Nobody wanted it except for to make bacon, which is another beautiful meat. We dry rub our pork belly for 3 days before we will wash it, and then we'll roast it and braise it, and then we'll press it overnight so that it has a very uniform consistency. And then to order, we fry it on the plancha, so it gets a nice little crispy skin on it. And then we stuff that with a little cabbage coleslaw, sesame seeds, peanuts, and I make this beautiful sauce I call it Korean barbecue sauce because it's spicy, it's sweet, it's ketchupy. It is made with gochujang, which is fermented red chili paste from Korea. So with the bread and the acidity and the richness of the fat of the pork, it's just a beautifully balanced dish. You could ask Christine about it later.
And those are peanuts on it? Is that what I'm seeing?
Are those what?
Peanuts?
There are peanuts in there too. But it's a good dish.
Yeah, all of the food
It's
is
definitely
so good, you guys.
It's definitely an eclectic menu or kind of dishes you have there.
Yeah.
When people ask, with chefs, it's usually they kind of tend to go in a certain direction.
Yeah.
From your end, was it intentional that it is an eclectic kind of style, or are you leaning towards one way or another?
That's a good question because for the past couple of years, even before Bottle Room, I went with I opened up this restaurant in South Pasadena called Mike and Anne's. It's still there, and that they asked me to make a contemporary American bistro menu, so there was not a whole lot of strain from that concept. After that, I did Bottle Room, which was supposed to be a gastropub, which allowed me lots of leeway, I guess, on making burgers and pizzas and sausages and stuff like that. Then going into Harlow's, which is a concept in concrete, pretty much. I couldn't stray from French dips, and I got to tell you, they were the best French dips you'll ever have. And then I went into Congregation Ale House, which also had no leeway for creativity or changing up what was some of the best pizzas and burgers that I've ever made. Coming into Crooked Gaff, there was no real concept except for pretty much sticking to seafood being the forte. So, in working at restaurants like the Ritz-Carlton, Mike and Anne's, Mako, McCormick and Schmick's. Do you guys remember that place? Yeah, that was an American fish house. So, working with my best friend Ricardo Diaz from Bizarra and Colonia and Poet Gardens and the brewery, he taught me a lot about Mexican food. So my confidence in Mexican food is greater now. And I could take that with my fish experience and my fine dining experience. And I'm not trying to be eclectic, but I don't have to follow anyone's rules. to do the food that I want to do here. So, yeah, that's years of knowing what I like, knowing what people like, and just trying to make it as best as I can and as consistent as possible.
It's pretty cool because I was just recently listening to a podcast where they're interviewing the guy who essentially invented the Impossible Meat or Impossible Burger.
Yeah.
And he interviewed.
Did you pick that one? I got some coffee here. I saw you guys cheer, but now that's there. Boom.
Yeah. Sorry. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Cheers, Jesse.
All right.
Cheers.
Back to our coffee. Sorry, Jesse. Go on.
So they were talking about how to, when they're trying to come up with this meatless option, right? What was interesting, though, is that they were looking to work with local chefs who would essentially be able to work with this meatless option into dishes that traditionally people would eat, right? And what I was interesting was that they weren't just going to any chef; they were actually going to chefs that were well known in working with just meat, right? And what was interesting is that the chef they did choose was a chef, and I forget his name. He's well known out in the East Coast, where for him, what he has said, what was interesting about this type of product was that, like any other chef, they like the challenge. They like the challenge of putting a dish together or coming up with a dish that would be able to satisfy the taste buds, right? And so, kind of going back to what you're saying, how, based on your experience and your different types of culinary background, you've kind of come up with what you like, what you don't like. Does that kind of trickle down to the kitchen? I mean, are you experimenting a lot now on your own, or are you kind of setting your ways?
I'm not set in my ways. I mean, I guess I am, and I'm not. What we try to, and to answer the other question is, we're not experimenting as much as we used to. As far as creating new dishes, it's not like it was before COVID-19. But what I try to teach my cooks always is I try to have them the job of a chef is to instruct and to inspire, and that's what I've been going off of for many years. And so now what I've come to teach my cooks, and you guys all probably know George, I teach them that they have to learn, that kind of hard work and to be inspired. They have to learn not only my recipes, but they have to learn my thought process. That's kind of how they have to go on from here. So there's not as much experimenting, but there is the same heart and soul put into everything. Clean kitchen, organized. Don't rush the steaks. Season correctly. Make sure the beans are hot enough, or things that we talk about all the time. Does that answer your question?
It does. And again, as a I'm gonna say young because you look younger than you would say, chefs that have been around for a long time, right? But young in the sense that you're obviously starting up with a new restaurant on your own that lets you do what you want to do or what you enjoy. Is there a certain dish that you would say, I would love to if I could just focus and eat this on a daily basis, this is what I would choose?
As far as what I make?
Yeah.
Because I could eat sushi all day long, every day. I could eat ramen all day long. In fact, we wanted to do a ramen pop-up here. And that'll be in the near future. Hopefully, we've been talking about it for about a year. But I could eat my spaghetti bolognese every day, too. And that's on the menu right now. And it's probably the first thing that I ever made at home where I actually went out. This was before I went to culinary school. I went out, purchased the ingredients, and made a meal at home. And made it for my mom and my brother and my grandma. And it was good. But, I bought the sauce, and I browned the meat, and I put it together. Are you guys familiar with bolognese? It's the classic red meat sauce with spaghetti. It's my favorite thing. So I've been making that dish for 25 to 30 years. since I was young, before going to culinary school, right after high school, if not during high school. So that dish, I don't want to change that dish anymore. I think it's perfect the way it is. It's got my differences that I put bacon in it as part of the meat. And then I make my own marinara sauce for it. So that's one dish that I could eat forever and not change.
Nice.
If you ever need a pop-up cereal bar, I'm your man. All right?
Do you guys remember that? You guys remember that? It was called Milk, where the commoner space is now.
Uh-huh.
That was right before we opened up the bottle room. And you could go in there, pick your cereals and your types of milk, and have breakfast.
Yeah, it was that, and then was it Quiznos?
It was a Quiznos. I think it was a Quiznos before that.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was Quiznos,
And then it was milk.
that, and then it was...
And then it was a Phoenix 5-4, and then the Canoe, what is it? Canoe Cafe, and then that's when it became the Commoner, which is probably the best interpretation of that space by far.
Yeah,
those guys know how to create a space that is fun, inviting, and has good quality stuff.
Very cool. Since we're not obviously physically there and tasting them, Christine, we'll put you on the spot. Have you got a chance to go through them yet? And what are your favorite out of those 5?
Yeah, definitely. I'm for sure eating over here while you guys are interviewing. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, Chef Tony. It's wonderful.
She came very hungry.
Yeah, I know. I only had hummus today.
That's not true.
But that being said, everything is amazing. Oh my gosh. Like, as he was describing everything to you guys, I was trying a little bit. So I guess I'll start from the green beans. Well, first of all, I just want to say, like, my favorite order to get from here is the clam chowder. I get the clam chowder. I really love it here. So great job, Tony.
Thank you.
And the sandwiches are also really great here, and they have a great special going on right now, which we'll talk about later, for $22, and it's worth it. And also, I did the Mother's Day brunch. I like your restaurant a lot,
yeah,
Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah, so all of the food is great, because what's so awesome about the green beans is that they're not like, I would say that they are very crisp, and they're still cooked through, which is delicious, and they have a very great tangy flavor. And then the poke tostada, that was amazing. I love the tostada really makes it, because I did try it without the tostada at first, and it just tasted like good poke, but when you add the tostada in there with that crunch and put the peanuts on there, you have so many layers of flavors, because you really get like that crunch. You also get different textures if you're a texture person.
Texture is one of my things too. Texture contrast.
Yeah, and so, and you also get that texture contrast, like even in the esquite. When you think about esquite, it's very one-dimensional, right? Because, you bite into the corn, but when you add the crab, it's like, it takes it to another level. It's full-bodied.
It does, yeah.
I love it so much. And it's a really good crab, too. It's very tasty. It's your typical esquite, like when Chef said with the tajin. I love the taste of the tajin on top. But it makes it a meal by adding the crab and the protein, And then, so that was delicious. And you might have that as a side with like tacos or something.
Yeah, we offer it as a side now without the crab.
Oh, really?
Making it less expensive.
Oh, I'm vegetarian, I guess.
Yeah, and vegetarian for sure.
And the Brussels sprouts, I love a good Brussels sprout, and this is a great Brussels sprout. It's very delicious. Yeah, I think that when they're hot and they come right out, that's like when they're, obviously like still super perfect. But they're very delicious. They taste earthy like a Brussels sprout, but also very sweet and complex flavors and those notes on top of it. And the pork belly also, honestly, the pork belly is probably the most interesting because of the fluffy bao bun. I posted a picture on our What's Up Whittier Instagram, and I'll post a food picture about all of these dishes. But the pork belly bun, do you guys make that in house?
No.
No? Okay, well they're so good. It's just very fluffy. It's like a little pillow, and then with the crunchiness of the pork belly, money, and with the spiciness of the sauce, it's so good. So I hope that description helped to tell you how great Tony's food is. Obviously, you need to taste it. It's amazing. And this is only a fraction of everything that's on the menu. because I can tell you, like, their po' boy is delicious, the chicken sandwich is delicious, the burger is delicious, like, all of the sandwiches I love. Anyway, I can't get enough of this food.
So, Tony, so how has COVID really impacted you guys? Have you guys been open for takeout, and how is everything? I mean, we're talking now, and as we enter LA County and phase 10, hopefully, I think it's officially that you guys can open, right? More dining.
Yes. Well, we'll wait for the dine-in option to come to full effect, but we have been open since day one, March 17th. We closed Mondays, which was the 16th when it was announced. I acted fast, man. I got to tell you, I put up that 2 sandwiches, 2 sides for $22 that very same day, going into a Taco Tuesday. And I was impressed by all the support that we got that day, that week. I want to say that week has probably been our busiest week for the COVID-19, other than the Mother's Day week, which we did a bunch of pre-order online on our website. That was the busiest week by far. But the 2 sandwich, 2 sides for $22, you could very well be saving $20 on that deal. Say you got two of the dry aged burgers for $15 a piece, plus 2 sides would put you easily at $40. We're doing that, and any combination of any of our sandwiches and any of our sides for $22. So I've expanded upon the sandwiches. Krabby Patty was a special that we did here for some of the girls' birthdays that work here, Kim and Amanda. And I brought it back just for this, and it's basically a gigantic crab cake that we make in-house with our own tartar sauce on a brioche bun, lettuce, pickles, tomato, onion. The shrimp po' boy is a classic favorite of everyone here. The fried chicken sandwich, and then I added some some sides, spicy cauliflower. Again, like the esquite without the crab is a side now. Truffle fries, spicy garlic fries, cup of clam chowder. Mac and cheese is on the menu now. We've ventured into some other stuff also, as far as 3-course dinners, family dinners. The one that's pushed the hardest is the 2 sandwiches, 2 sides. We sell a ton of those every day. Tuesdays, we sell a lot of taco combos. It's another thing that I've done. Our tacos are a la carte, so you order one and you pay whatever price it is. Now you can order a la carte, or you could order combos, 2 or 3 tacos, and they automatically come with rice and beans, which we did not do before. The rice and beans are vegan, so you wouldn't know it. They taste. I add a little soy riso to the beans, and you would never know. Other things that I've been wanting to do. Obviously, we can't do oysters now. I've never done oysters to go ever in my whole career. It's too much of a liability with those. Those guys are alive, and once you open them, they die, and so they start deteriorating quickly. I would not want to sell those to go. But thinking about putting a little package together, a dozen oysters or however many dozen you want, to include a knife, and you could shuck them at home, and we would give you all the sauces and lemons and all that stuff. So I'm going to see if I could maybe start that with a little pre-order, so I don't over-order or under-order oysters. Yeah, we have our first customer.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So yeah, the menu's been tailored a lot for this. Spaghetti bolognese was not something that I would put on my, seafood restaurant. But it's here because it's comfort food, and I think people need that kind of comfort right now. Sandwiches, tacos, that's comfort.
Hey, Tony, so based on this whole COVID thing, what is one thing that customers should know about the restaurant industry? Like, and what I'm getting at is we've done like online ordering through other apps.
Yeah.
I know it's always like a pretty heavy conversation in terms of whether it makes sense or not for restaurants. But what's your take on that?
As far as delivery services, is that what you meant?
Yeah.
I'm not into it, man. And I got to tell you, maybe most of my career, things like YELP, I don't feel to be very helpful. Places like Postmates, and I don't need to name them all off, but they I've always felt like they take advantage, and they make a lot of money, and they charge us a lot of money. And some of them will charge the customer the fees, and most of them will charge the restaurant the fees, and they make themselves to be all these good guys. But really, I feel like it's hurting the industry. For the restaurants that are open, they take a lot of my money, man. And I signed up with DoorDash, and I think a lot of the customers are keen on that. They know when we first started doing, because I would have never agreed to DoorDash, but we thought, hey, let's take our food out to more people. We could probably still make more money and have more people enjoy our food at the comfort of their own home without leaving. And I think a lot of people started ordering, and I think now they know that it's not really helping, and that they would rather just come in here and walk in through the doors. We do curbside also, but a lot of people are just like, yeah, we'll come in, and everybody's wearing masks and everything.
Yeah, but Tony, as a customer that's ordered like curbside and pickup during this time, I think that one of the good things is coming in and seeing your face and seeing Amanda and seeing everybody that we know that works here.
Yeah, I put myself into that category where I'd rather just get out of the house for a minute. Or everything's a little too mundane around home, You need to get out. You need to get out. So, but as far as like the ethics and stuff about those delivery services, I'm not into it.
So obviously, from again, I didn't know it was that bad until somebody had mentioned it, who's also a restaurant owner, and they were concerned about it. But I guess the alternative to that, what would you tell customers is a better option? I know you said obviously come in and stop by, but for those that don't want to stop by, just because obviously they want to keep still that distance, but they want to eat your food, what would you say would be the best option? Do you have like online ordering?
That's the cool thing is that we just recently set up. My friend Brandon set up actually made our website. Cool thing about the way things came together was really great because we have Clover system as a POS. He created our website, which is made with WordPress. Clover has a WordPress native third-party. It's called Smart Online Ordering, which interacts with my POS and my website. So he created the online ordering menu for us, which is our exact menu, and it's updated daily. Person orders from that. It gets paid for on the website with their credit card, and then it goes straight to my printer in the kitchen, which is awesome because you don't have to call. You don't have to, and our phone's ringing off the hook some days. It's too hard to pick up multiple calls and to bag the food and to take people's money and stuff. So it saves us that extra time. You pay for it online. You make your order, you pay for it online, and then when you get here, you can request curbside. And so there's very, very little contact. Everything's paid for. We take your food out to your car with our mask and our gloves, and you're good. So that for me right now, I'm saying the best way to do this is to order online and let us take the food outside to you. You're also welcome to come in here. I have a sign on my doors, wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's the best way to do it.
That's so cool. Do you think this whole experience would change your operations moving forward, or you think you'll kind of?
I think so. I think we're every day is it's like we're doing tons of to-go food, where before we barely did any to-go food. I think when things start resembling more of a normalcy, that we'll probably have a heavier to-go operation, and that'll add to the bottom line, which would be great. Also, certain things that we needed to do on our website that are now updated. Certain procedures that are have been updated through necessity.
Tony, before all this, what was the percentage of your actual to-go orders? Was it like a nominal amount, or was it
5%?
5? Wow. And now it's obviously 100%.
Now it's 100, except for when I eat my food here.
Yeah. And then, fast forward, 6 months or a year from now, do you still think it'll be as, do you expect it to go back to maybe 50-50 with you saying that, the takeout's going to be still a big chunk of the business?
I don't know about 50-50. I think people are ready to get. Well, there's a lot of people that are very scared, rightfully so, and they're going to want to maybe not get into big gatherings right away. But I think that in a few months, maybe 50-50, which is kind of cool. Not to sound too businessy, but it's cool to just kind of make people's food, have them pay and go, and then tend to the customers that are here.
And then you don't have as many tables that are spoken for, and you still make that business, right?
So it really, at the end of the day, it's about making the food that I love, but it's about making money.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the cool thing, or the one good thing that's coming out of this whole COVID thing, is that it's definitely changing the way you're doing business in a very creative way. And I say this because now that and cities or counties are getting less lenient on, or more lenient on regulations. The big one is the alcohol delivery, which so far, knock on wood, we haven't heard tragic accidents or catastrophes where doing delivery alcohol with your meal, right? It makes sense. It complements it. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that that's one thing that kind of sticks. Yeah. So in the future, if you decide to order, you could order a pairing for your meal, right? That's one. The other one is that just recently, this week, the city of Whittier talked about opening up or closing Greenleaf to do some outdoor dining, right? Trying to create this open environment, which again, before the concept, we talked about it several times and it was always a no. Now the silver lining is that, we could potentially test that and see how it works. So that'll be really cool to see the landscape on Greenleaf. In your case, because you are in your own kind of little property or building area, making maybe use of that parking lot, doing like an outdoor dining experience, right? And again, because they're very lenient, that hopefully this becomes something you could do now and again. And who knows, maybe in the future it just becomes normal, right? And so I think, it's going to change the way we do business, but I think it'll be in a good way. From a obviously person who's wanting to patronize a business, I'm less concerned than my wife is in terms of this whole COVID thing. But again, you do have people who are very concerned of what's going on, and they want to see how long this thing's going to last, and hopefully it doesn't last too long. But again, I think it'll be an in-between for patrons who are okay and patrons who are not okay with mass gatherings. So again, I want to see where this goes, because it'll definitely change the way restaurants are doing business.
Well, the first thing that you mentioned was the alcohol and the beer licenses, the alcohol licenses and stuff like that. Funny thing is that I did not know that my alcohol license permitted me to sell my beer to go. My license is a 47, I believe, and that allows me to sell my bottles and cans to go pre-COVID-19, and I was under the impression that we were not able to. So that's another thing that I acted on fast and started selling my beers. I want to say that Wednesday. That Wednesday, yeah. And then moving forward, they released the ability for us to sell our taps to go. So then I got acted quickly. Also, got some growlers, glass growlers, 32 ounces, and I started selling those. And as soon as they came in, probably took about a week to come in. So by the end of the second week, we were selling our growlers. We're slapping our CGK sticker on there, and they've been selling pretty well. I've had to reorder 3 times. So as far as the promenade on Greenleaf, I think that's something that should have happened a long time ago anyway. Whether it's permanent, like it is in Santa Monica, or if it's a weekend thing, like it is in other cities, or like when they used to close down for the farmers market. I always thought the farmers market was a great idea, but I also always thought that it should have been the businesses of Uptown Whittier having their stuff being sold on the street, making it more family. South Pasadena is a good one. that is more like that. They set tables out there and stuff, and people could eat out there and whatever. As far as doing it in my parking lot, it's definitely something to consider. If, say, we do order, if we do order the order is, let's say, 50% occupancy or whatever it may be, then I could very well make up that other 50% in my parking lot, and maybe business can thrive again. Who knows? But it is something to think about.
No, it's very cool. Very cool. You being a longtime resident here in Whittier, you've seen kind of the growing of Uptown and the whole restaurant scene. What is one thing or one restaurant or one meal that you say you kind of miss?
Oh, going to like one of the restaurants and eating? Yeah,
just in Uptown.
At the very least, I could say, fideo or the chalupitas at Colonia Publica. The chalupitas are one of my favorite things there.
But are there any restaurants that you haven't seen over time that you miss? Like Parking Good, right? Or anything like that?
Oh my God, yeah. I miss the Phoenix. I miss Four Bricks. Four Bricks had some really good food.
Yes, R.I.P. Four Bricks.
I also do miss Auntie's, but I heard they reopened recently. So, yeah, I do miss a lot of the stuff. I miss going to the brewery after work. I miss going to the bottle room after work. Going to the commoner. I mean, just those are the kind of things that I miss. Hanging out with the business owners and their employees that I've become friends with after 5 years of living in the city and 12 years of working in it.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's you talked about your menu that you have currently, about those 2 for $22. Out of that whole menu, what would you say is your favorite, and what would you say is the crowd's favorite?
Do you have kids? Do you have kids?
Yes.
How many?
2.
How many? Which one do you love more?
The girl.
The girl? Yeah.
You only have the girl.
So for me, honestly, like I could come in any day, and it's different every day because I could have the shrimp po'. I'm looking at it right now. I could eat the shrimp po' boy any day, the Alaskan cod, the Krabby Patty, the fried chicken sandwich, the pork belly banh mi, the torta de asada, the dry aged burger. I guess the only one that does not interest me is the veggie burger.
Good answer.
But some of my cooks love it. And then all the sides are bomb. Everything. I don't make food that I don't like unless it's something that I feel needs to be on the menu for a certain group, and that usually being the vegetarians or vegans. That burger is very nearly vegan. And then just kind of like we talked about, the grilled corn esquite without the crab is also now an option.
Yeah.
So from that special, man, I could eat any of it. The burger is so good because it's unique to Crooked Gaff. We use a dry aged blend patty. That dry aged beef is like the Rolls Royce of meat, of beef anyway. We use that. We make our own pickles. We make our own secret sauce, and we use a very nice brioche bun. And then our carne asada torta. It's like the best carne asada in town.
Nice.
Not boasting. I'll call Ricardo out on it anytime. And then things that are a little bit more creative, like the pork belly banh mi, the Krabby Patty. All that stuff is you can't really get it anywhere else.
So do you have a chef special, like something that you're like, man, I this is my baby, this is it?
They're all my babies, Jessie.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to order.
I have like 100 kids. Do you know what you got to try is the carne asada quesadilla. Not to talk about carne asada again, but that's really good. The cauliflower taco is super good. The grilled shrimp, it's also unique. We make our own salsa negra, which is dried morita chilies. We fry them, and then we add the kind of typical mole ingredients to it, but it's not sweetened with chocolate or anything like that. It's very dry and oily, but it's got this beautiful heat, and it plays really well with the succulent shrimp and the we make a coleslaw, but we use a little bit of yuzu juice in it. So it really, really makes it different, you know. And that's kind of like the I don't want to call it fusion. I feel like that word's played out now. It's just very LA, and it's it's like fusion without it's supposed to be a fusion, you know, because it's got Japanese citrus in there, and it's got, you know, Baja shrimp and tortillas that we make in house. You know, every time you order a taco, we make your tortilla.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, you know, the
Tony, if there's
tacos
one missing in Whittier, what would that you would like to see here? What would that be?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. If there's
one thing missing in the city of Whittier that maybe you leave town to go to that you would like to see here in Whittier, what would that be?
That's a really good question, because I'm sure I've had, you know, ideas throughout all the years. I always wanted a ramen shop up here. That's one thing. I don't know. I think a really good ice cream shop. I see. One of the things is I love making ice cream. As far as being a chef, I'm also a pastry chef. I have a lot of experience with cakes and batters and ice creams and sauces and all that kind of stuff. A really good handmade ice cream shop. And I'm not talking about like the nitrogen kind of stuff. That would be cool too. But like somewhere that makes their own ice cream and just serves scoops, small shop. That'd be really cool. I mean, we already have Starbucks, so. Oh, you know what? A really solid pizzeria, but like a pizza pub, you know, where like you can get a pitcher of beer, like maybe craft beer, and a really nice pizza, and some nice salads, and maybe a couple of pastas. That's what I would like to see, and I think the Four Bricks building would be perfect for that. They already have a really nice pizza oven.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
There you go, CGK 3.0.
2.0. Oh, sorry. But yeah.
What's so if you're not there at your restaurant having or I guess in this case taking out food and eating out from there, what's your go-to locally?
To go eat?
Yeah.
I go to Bazaar Capital a lot. That's where I go to mostly. If we're talking local.
Special dish?
I love the chef's rice and beans.
Oh, that's a good, chef special, yeah.
Yeah, if not, I do like going to sushi a lot. I like to support locally too. I go to Grill and Sushi right there on Hadley and, what's that, Pickering? Yeah. I like to support them. It's a husband and wife, and they do all the cooking and all the cleaning and all the stuff there. I support them quite a bit.
It's catty corner from the Arco.
Yeah, catty corner from the Arco. From outside of the city, I go to Ravello a lot, which is probably the best pizzeria in a 25-mile radius. If you haven't been there, you got to check it out. Best carbonara ever.
Where's that located?
It's on Garfield, just barely north of the 60.
Monterey Park?
Yeah, Monterey Park.
Oh, yes. I've been, great pizza, man.
Super good.
They used to be called something else, right?
They used to be called Bolini's.
Yeah, Bolini's, yeah.
Another great place, not to mention Ricardo again, but Cook's Tortas. He was the original owner and chef of that place, and they have the best tortas ever.
Yeah.
We go there a lot. We get poke a lot. We get ramen a lot. You know, Alhambra, San Gabriel. We go to Yoshiharu quite a bit now because it's the closest, and they actually got pretty good. We go there a lot. And
nice.
The new place, Chicken Bodega, is really good.
I have not tried, but I'm about to check it out.
You gotta get the dirty fries. It's super good.
Dirty fries.
Yeah. Another thing that we didn't talk about, you guys, is the beer that we serve here.
Yeah, tell us about the beer.
Yeah. Well, Christine and I just had a beer, and it's pretty eclectic as well. The one thing that it mostly is local to Southern California, mostly local to the Los Angeles County. Although we do have a couple of beers one from Canada, which is the Unibrew. That's about as far as I go. Other than that, everything's pretty local. We pour the Whittier Brewing Company beers here, and then that's by tap. In bottle, I have a lot of Belgian beer because I feel in my heart that Belgians make the best beer in the world, except if it's a West Coast IPA, and that's California for sure. And LA makes some of the best IPAs in the world. So that's the kind of stuff we do here. Good food, good beer, great service.
So if somebody calls and they put an order in, have you had anybody say, "Hey, give me a pairing with that meal"?
They haven't said pairing, but because I don't know that everybody's on that level. I think what beer is not so much. Back in the day, we used to say there are no beer snobs, there are only wine snobs. But in the beer world, there's just a bunch of beer geeks, and people that just love beer. And I think, when somebody comes in here and say, like, what should I drink? My second question is always, what do you like to drink? And if you can say an IPA, well, I got like 3 or 4 of them. If you say a lager, then I'll have something for you. Sours, yes. Stouts, we have something. If it's not on tap, it's in a bottle.
Very cool.
So, and do you guys still have? I know with the brothers, they had the oyster special on Thursday. Once everything returned back to normal, is that something that will be back on the menu?
Was it happy hour? The $1 happy hour oysters.
Oh man, I don't want to talk about that. While I think it's the impression that people get. I've only done it one time, and it was probably the busiest day we've ever had by far. But I think it gives the impression that we're trying to get rid of old oysters, and I don't like to give that notion that they're just trying to get rid of oysters. I think the food is priced low enough for people to not have to be tempted or bribed at dollar oysters. We did that one time as part of our girls' birthday celebration back in August when we did the Krabby Patty. We did a one day where and we sold a ton of fresh oysters. I literally ordered cases and cases to arrive that day so that we could do dollar oysters. And it was for the people. It wasn't for us. I mean, obviously we profited from it, but it's not something that I'm interested in doing. If we do it again, it'll be it'll probably be as an event. It'll be, a month at least notice so that people could plan to come in.
Well, Remo's not about the cheap, and he doesn't want to pay too much for oysters. It's just that the way he eats.
He needs a lot. He needs
like 3 dozen.
I'm a grown boy, so
one thing,
price is, I always double it in my mind.
One of the things that we do is we do a lot of Dodger games happy hour. When the Dodgers come back, we do every single game that they play, whether it's home or not. We do happy hour oysters, which makes them considerably cheaper. And that's the other thing. The other thing is that oysters are not cheap.
Yeah.
They're not like close to nothing like they probably used to be back in the day. They're expensive, and we're barely making. We don't make money by selling oysters, and by selling them at $1, we're probably losing money on oysters.
Especially if you're selling to Remo.
Yeah.
Please.
So before we sign off on this, what is your schedule right now currently with this whole COVID?
I stay at home with my girls for most of the day. I come into work around 1 or 2, and we're closing at around 8:30 now. So we, I'm still working a full day. I'm still working a full week actually. I don't know what he's doing.
I think Remo hopped off the computer onto his phone.
Oh, got it. Anyway,
so restaurant-wise, what are your hours for the restaurant?
We're closed. We're closed Mondays, and hours are 4:30 to 8:30.
Mondays, and hours are 4:30 to 8:30.
I'm getting a really bad echo. Are you getting that echo?
What echo?
Okay, there we go.
There.
Fridays, I'm sorry. Tuesday through Friday, we're doing 4:30 to 8:30. Saturday, we're doing 12 to 8:30. And Sundays, we're doing 11 to 2. Sundays are pretty good because we are doing our buy 2 breakfast burritos and get 1 free.
Remo loves that.
Nice.
Or we'll, if you don't want a third burrito, we'll do pancakes or waffles instead.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, all this information for your menu, if people want to look it up, what would be the best way? Is it website, Instagram, Facebook?
It is website. Website is pretty crookedgaff.com. It's pretty consistent. It doesn't change ever. We do update it when we need to, daily if it has to be. But Instagram, CGK_2.0, everything's updated daily there for sure. So that's the best way to look at information.
And for those that don't know your physical location, can you tell us where you're at?
We're in Uptown Whittier, 13103 Penn Street, in the 90602 area code. We're right across the street from the what used to be the Radisson, the DoubleTree, next to right behind Mission Square and Rick's.
Okay.
Right by the police station too, so don't mess with us.
There you go. Awesome. Well, Tony, thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
And we're definitely going to have to swing by and pick up some of those dishes. And can't wait to see what you guys do in the next couple coming weeks or months. But hopefully all this goes back to normal somewhat and we can start dining in.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to have you guys here and, laugh about this in a year, and really weird time in our country's history.
Yes. Well, with that said, thank you again.
Thank you guys for having me, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you later, Whittier.